Nigel Farage, well, love him or hate him, well, but you've got to admit that man is full of surprises. And just when you think you've got him figured out, he pulls something like this, what we're going to talk about today. He wants to pack the House of Lords. Yeah, the same institution he spent a decade railing against. And the irony here is so thick you could cut it with a knife. For those of you who aren't deeply invested in the labyrinthine world of British politics, the House of Lords is the UK's second chamber of parliament. As we heard a lot of time, it's unelected, it's packed with hundreds of people, and famously full of what Farage would call the establishment. And for years, he has been its fiercest critic. He's called for its abolition, or at the very least, its radical reform. And he said it's undemocratic, a bastion of cronyism, and a relic of a bygone era. And now, suddenly, he's asking the Prime Minister to let him appoint his own people to it. And his argument? Democratic disparity. He says Reform UK, despite winning over 4 million votes, has no peers, with smaller parties like the Green Party and Plaid Cymru, they have them. But let's be honest, this isn't about democratic principle for Farage. This is about power. This is about leveraging the very system he despises to get what he wants. And as someone who's not British and who has watched the whole Brexit saga from the outside, this once again is a truly jaw-dropping turn of events. And I remember watching the Brexit campaign. The promises of taking back control, of tearing down the old structures, of giving power back to the people. Farage was the face of that movement. And he sold it as a revolution against the elites, the bureaucrats, the unelected bodies, and what was a bigger symbol of that establishment than the House of Lords. And the fact that he's now demanding a seat at that table, demanding to become part of the very system he promised to dismantle, it just feels like the ultimate betrayal of that original message. And it's not about making the system fairer. It's about making sure his party gets a slice of the pie. And it's about using the brokenness of the system for his own gain, rather than fixing it. So, why is he doing this now? And well, that's pretty simple. Reform UK is on a roll. They have had strong showing in recent local elections and they won a by-election. And they've claimed to be the main opposition party. And they are riding a wave of populist support, and Farage wants to solidify that power. He just sees an opportunity. He sees a chance to put his people in the position where they can scrutinize legislation, where they can make their voices heard, and where they can cause a huge amount of friction for the current government. He's trying to make Reform UK a permanent fixture of the British political landscape, not just a flash in the pan. But what does this say about his wider political philosophy? And this is where it gets really murky. He's a man who has built his entire career on a very simple message. I am an outsider. And no, he's not working for outside views. I am a voice for the forgotten. I am here to tear down the walls of the establishment. Well, he's not Reagan, by the way. And this move, however, makes him sound an awful lot like a traditional politician. One who's more interested in the mechanics of power than in the purity of his ideals. He is no longer the revolutionary. He's just another guy in Westminster trying to get his people a job. And for those who saw Brexit as a huge and terrible mistake like I do, this feels like a final bitter confirmation of our worst fears. It wasn't about a better Britain. It was about a different set of people holding power. It was about one group of elites replacing another. The fundamental problems with the system, the House of Lords, the voting system, the culture of cronyism, remain untouched here. And the only change is who gets to benefit from them. So where does this leave us? I think it leaves us with a stark choice. Do we see this as a clever tactical maneuver from a shrewd politician? Or do we see it as the final cynical nail in the coffin of a once powerful populist movement? At least for the coming future. Personally, I see it as the latter. It's a sad, predictable end to a story that promised so much change and has in the end delivered so little. But that's what happens to populist movements. And it's a powerful reminder that sometimes the most effective way to change a system is not to tear it down, but to simply find a way to get your foot in the door. And Farage, it seems, has decided the door to the House of Lords is finally one he wants to walk through. And let me know what you think in the comments below. Is this a genius move or a total sellout? And don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Outside Views.